Okay. At what point do I need my helmet? I feel like I need it right now.
No, only just before we take off.
Okay.
And you clipped in, then we put the helmet on.
55-year-old South African Pierre Carter is a man that dreams big. Not only does he want to climb the 7 highest mountains in the 7 continents, he also wants to paraglide off them. Crazy, right? Speaking of crazy, I'm joining this paragliding adventure for a tandem flight near 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. That's if we actually get into the air.
And if we come down again, you carry on running.
Yes.
If it's not flying, we're just going to go boom, and I'll then land on top of you. I'll be fine. You'll be in the rocks and might be bruised and battered.
Thanks.
Okay.
Cut, guys. Cut. In reality, I was in very good hands. Pierre, who's a Springbok paraglider, has thousands of flying hours under his belt. Not just that, he's had an encounter with the world's highest and probably deadliest mountain, Mount Everest. I've got a huge fear for heights, but hey man, it is what it is. Let's go. This is the most amazing thing ever. Outside of jumping off mountains, what other stuff do you do?
I'm just your average guy, and I run a little building company. I've got my wife and I've got my daughter who's 26, and we've got 4 border collies.
He's at his happiest joining the 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 colonies around 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, mid-flight, or spending hours in the air navigating the Drakensberg Mountains. And his passion has led to the adventure of a lifetime, a daring plan he calls 7 summits, 7 flights. The project entails not only climbing the 7 highest peaks on the world's 7 continents, but also paragliding off them at the same time, and he's funding it all from his own pocket. In April this year, he set off for the Himalayas, and his biggest challenge to date. Combining the extremes of mountain climbing and paragliding is no easy feat. But on top of that is an even bigger challenge, getting the authorities to play along. It took Pierre and fellow enthusiasts years to get permission to fly off Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest mountain.
That took us 10 years to get that permit.
10 years?
10 years of knocking on the door.
With Everest, a local tour operator named 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 was able to secure permission for Pierre's jump from the Nepalese government, something they'd never allowed before.
I said, COVID has been such a bad time for the whole country. Let's do something that would really, make a splash and put Nepal in the right light. So everything aligned, and we, in the end, managed to get the permit.
With the paperwork out of the way, the real challenge began. Hundreds of people have lost their lives attempting to summit Everest. Just getting to base camp at a height of 5,364 meters takes 10 days as climbers have to acclimatize their bodies to the thin air.
The altitude itself is a killer, right? If you were to helicopter into the Everest region, just even to base camp, and you just jumped out, within a matter of a few hours, you'd probably be dead.
Longtime friend and fellow paraglider 𝗀𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 joined Pierre's expedition up to base camp.
And just staying at base camp, base camp was pretty tough, the temperature swings were drastic. We had -20 during the night.
Base camp wash day.
One of the deadliest sections on the way to the summit is the notorious Khumbu Icefall.
So you're walking around blocks of ice. They are, huge, like 4-story blocks.
This area is so dangerous that a group of local guides have to assist climbers by mapping out the route and setting up life-saving equipment along the way.
And they have a group called the Icefall Doctors that set ropes up all the way through the icefall. And the crevasse is 100 meters deep or more. You can't see the bottom of them in some of them. Yes. And some of them you have to jump across. They're sort of a meter and a half. Some of them are 3 meters, and then they put a ladder across. Yes. The Icefall Doctors, they carry up these aluminium ladders and they put them there.
As the ascent continues, the air gets constantly thinner, and simply breathing becomes a difficult task.
Chilling at 7,200 meters, I think it is. If you can do a marathon and you can do 3 marathons in a row doesn't mean you can get up Everest. It's still got to me the amount of waiting around and the slowness that it all takes for your body to acclimatize.
After an arduous journey, climbers eventually reach Camp 4, the final stop before they'll attempt to summit. It's an area with an infamous reputation.
And 8,000 meters, so it's just in what they call the death zone, where your body is essentially dying slowly.
Most people will have to take supplemental oxygen at this altitude, and the thin air poses even more problems to would-be paragliders.
The air is very, very, very thin. You have to know exactly what you're doing.
On a clear Everest morning, 8 weeks after starting his trek up the mountain, Pierre was ready to fly into the record books. On the 15th of May 2022, Pierre Carter became the first person in the world to legally paraglide off Mount Everest.
It was an elation went through me, thinking, oh, thank God I'm actually going to fly off this mountain. So I've been in big mountains, but the Himalayas is bigger. I mean, it's just, yeah, they're huge. You're flying through history in a way.
After experiencing the Himalayas in a way the rest of us can only dream of, he landed safely, and his first words on a world first were characteristically modest.
Well, at least that's over. Woo!
Back in 𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗃's, my own safe landing was, well, a little louder.
Woo! Landed! Oh, what a joy! This is absolutely amazing. I can't even begin to explain it to anyone what this feels like. Just the feeling of being in the air. You know, you're soaring above with the birds. It's surreal.
You might think pulling off the Everest expedition was the climax. It doesn't get more challenging than that. But Pierre's got one more climb. Do you want to guess which mountain that is? Mount Vinson is the highest mountain in Antarctica and also the remotest location of the 7 summits. But Pierre is determined to not let either the staggering price tag of nearly 900,000 rand or anything else stand in his way.
I've always said when you get to 85, you must see how many body parts you've replaced. Then you know you've lived it.
You've really lived, right?